So today I'm going to talk about evangelicals, specifically white evangelicals, which is my culture that I grew up in where I'm from. The reason why I wanted to talk about evangelical church specifically is because they're ruining everything right now. Like when I left the church as a teenager, I was like, not only am I leaving, but I'm never, ever coming back. You can't make me. I'm going to get so far away that you can't ever do anything to me again. And now there's nowhere to go because they're in charge. Good job, everyone, for letting that happen. I don't know. I guess I always thought when I was a kid that people would be able to see how like shit-faced, like wild, like ridiculous, like the things that these people say are, and how dangerous, and that because it's so like obvious, and that people don't, and that has been like really frustrating and upsetting to see, the rise of Donald Trump and his little evangelical cronies has been hopefully a wake-up call to other people. I knew that evangelicals were bad in the 90s when they were like, oh yay, I hope all these queer people die from AIDS and God sent AIDS to kill them because that's what's great. And so that was fun when I was, a queer teenager, to sit in church and listen to them go on and on and on about how much they just like hate people. So I didn't really script this at all. It's kind of a vlog, but it's more like, I would say the Lord laid a conviction on my heart that I guess I need to talk about this. So I spent a lot of time not talking about it because it's horrendously upsetting. But and this is not for people, if you're still within the evangelical church and you're not a monster, it's time to leave, right? It's been past time to leave. Find another faith tradition that you can be a part of if you still believe in God, and I don't because of the things that happened to me within church and other reasons. But if you do still believe in God, that's great. But you should leave the evangelical church because it is horrendous and a death cult that's trying to cause the end of the world so that Jesus can come back, right? Like, listen to what people are saying and take them seriously. So, I guess I'm like already so mad. Like, it's so hard to do this because it sounds like I don't understand how, like, I'm the one that sounds like ridiculous when I just repeat the things that they say, and like nobody believes them, right? They can stand there and say, we want to kill all the gay people. We want to kill people for adultery. We want to, make biblical law the law of the entire country, our interpretation of biblical law. Like, we want, fathers to be able to kill their daughters. Like, this is what we want. We want covenant marriages that people, like, cannot get divorces from. And then people just, we want to put, like, all the Jewish people back in Jerusalem, and so that, in Israel, and that's why we're so into Israel, so that, like, Jesus can come back and cause the apocalypse, end of the world, aka the book of Revelation. And it's just, they say this stuff. They say it like I'm saying it to you, and I don't, like, why won't you believe them? Like, they mean it. It's not a joke, right? Like, they're not kidding. And every time people are like, well, when are evangelicals going to do this? Or when are evangelicals going to do that? Like, they're not regular Christians, right? They're not like Lutherans or like Catholics. I mean, I don't know anything about Catholics, but like, they're not like regular Christians or mainline Protestants. Like, they genuinely think that, like, if they set up this, like, chessboard, then, like, and then Jesus will come back, and then, like, we don't need the earth anymore for anything. Because, like, it's gonna be over. And there's just gonna be heaven and hell, and you'll be in one or the other. Like, seriously, like, literally. You know, this is why you can't get climate change with these people. They don't believe they need it. You know, when I was a little girl, and people were like, you're not going to live to be 30 years old. Like, you will never live to get married. Like, you will not live long enough, maybe even to finish high school, because the rapture is going to happen, and isn't that great? And I'm like a little kid, and I'm like, no, it doesn't sound great. Like, I would like to, like, live to grow up. You know, like, I would like for that to happen. And I don't understand why people who are not, like, from this church, why you won't listen? Like, why can't you believe people? This is why I didn't want to do this. Because it's, like, the worst thing in my life and the hardest thing to talk about. Maybe I should have planned this better. I don't know. It's the idea that I could, like, extemporaneously speak about evangelicals is kind of ridiculous because, it's really hard to talk in an extemporaneous way about people who've abused you since you were a small child. And, like, I don't know, and that people think that this is silly and ridiculous is pretty offensive to me, and that, like they're in charge, you know? And it's like, well, when are like evangelicals gonna stop being, like, hypocrites? Like, never. Okay? I'm not a theologian. I am not someone who has gone to, you know, secondary school and college and, like, studied the Bible. I didn't go to seminary. I was out of the church as a teenager, and I have not been back. But, like, I can tell you some things, you know, like, regional differences aside, and that, like, the Southern, you know, my experience is within the Southern Baptist Church. And, the Southern Baptist Church is a loose coalition of churches underneath the Southern Baptist Convention. It is not, like, there's no, like, Southern Baptist Pope. There's no evangelical Pope. There's no, like, it's very diffuse. We moved around a lot when I was a kid. We went to a lot of different churches. The theology between different churches is different. There are some things that are in common, but, you know, like, people get different stuff from different areas. I went to school, evangelical school, for several grades. You know, so I've been around a couple of different places, but I just, if your question is, when are, like, what is the deal with, like, evangelicals and hypocrisy? Like, they don't care what you think about them. Or, I mean, like, they super care, and that they're super, like, you know, oh, my terrible, like, it's so terrible that secular people make fun of us. But, like, they sort of think that that means that they're right. You know, and that insofar as, like, morality would go, they don't think that anyone who is outside of their little death cult has any right to say anything to them about morality. Like, you know, how would you talk about morality with a dog? Like, what, you know, would you talk about, like, morality to a grasshopper? Like, you wouldn't even have anything to say. And so, like, that's what they think, is that, like, you are the equivalent of like, an animal following your like base animal instincts and, you know, satanic demon influences, that like it, you know, at least that they're like, at least we try to be, you know, godly, and that like secular people don't even try. And so therefore there's some idea that you should get like some credit for holding yourself to high standards. The every church I've ever been in has been filled with hypocrisy. People are absolutely inured to it. They do not care. You know, there are people like beating their wives and going to church and putting a happy face on it, and like everyone knows and no one cares. You know, like there's a higher good, and we will all serve the higher good, and that is what it is for. And so it's not, there's no way to there's no way for someone outside of that community to penetrate to them with the idea that they are being hypocritical. Like, that doesn't mean anything. It absolutely isn't going to mean anything to them. Like, you cannot, they're not going to listen to you. They don't even hear you. Like, they are absolutely within their own like iron bubbles of, they're not going to hear it. And even if they did hear it, they wouldn't care. So, you know, the question of like, is it hypocritical? Because like, take for example, is it hypocritical for evangelicals to support Donald Trump, womanizer, rapist, etc., like terrible person, money laundering criminal, probably. Like, and they're like, oh, we have these great morals. Like, is it, you know, reasonable or not hypocritical for them to support Donald Trump? Well, first of all, like, they don't, like, I don't think that, like, evangelicals think about hypocrisy in the same way that other people do, because, like, for one thing, you know, they're like, God can use any tool. So, like, anyone who can be used towards this, like, apocalyptic mindset of like what they think the end times should be, to get rid of abortion, to reoppress queer people, you know, this is what they want. And if it's like, if Donald Trump like banged out a porn star in the Rose Garden, they would not give a fuck. Like, they won't. They're not going to, because they think he might ban abortion. And that's all they care about. Or they think that, you know, like, he's gonna put in place the pieces to start, like, you know, the book of Revelation for happening. So, like, they don't give a fuck what he does. It's not like, oh, we have to be held to such a high standard. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. So, like, you might as well just stop expressing that, because it doesn't mean anything. And, like, it's really frustrating for me to see, like, people be like, oh, isn't it, like, super hypocritical for evangelicals to do this or do that? And it's just like, you don't understand what their deal is at all. And like, there are groups of people who grew up in that world who could tell you exactly what's going on every time you think, isn't it weird that evangelicals did X, Y, or Z? And there's always a reason for it, and people could tell you, but you won't listen. Right? Like why the people who were raised in these churches, raised up to be culture warriors, raised up to be, you know, God's army, and like, we're the ones who know. Like, you guys don't know what their deal is, because like, you don't know how to decode them. And like, and we do, and so therefore you should listen to ex-evangelicals, like, we're the people who know. And the hypocrisy thing, no one cares. Like, that's just a red herring. Like, you just keep chasing your tail with it, because it's never, ever, ever gonna go anywhere. They don't care what you think. Like, God's law is above man's law. Like, they, you know, like, they don't care. So find another way to, like, you know, to, like, criticize them. Go back through, look at the things that they've done historically. Like, listen to their words, you know, but, like, it's insofar as like being like, you say one thing and do another. So, like, it's even legitimate. The churches that I grew up in, like, lying to non-believers to get what you want for God is legitimate. Like, and there's a reason why, like, there's so much grift in these communities. Like, oh my God. Fucking nightmare. I don't even know if I'm going to post this because it's, like, not barely coherent. But, if you have questions about evangelicals, I grew up in their world. I can try to answer them from my experience. I am never going back. So if it involves looking anything up new, I'm not going to do that. But you should, like, check out Chris Stroop's webpage called Not Your Mission Field. He's, like, much more coherent than I am. I'm just mad. I'm just really, really angry. And also just, like, this is, like, my actual nightmare manifesting into the world. Like, my life's nightmare happening. So, that happens. Yeah, leave me a comment if you want to know anything. I will probably say something back that is, like, I don't know. I'll do my best. But, like, I'm not interested. I'm not interested in talking to people defending Christianity. I'm not going to do it. I don't want to talk about it. Like, if you have anything to say about straw manning Christianity, you can eat my ass because I do not care. All right? Thanks. Bye.